Okay, is it Tonka House? Can you unmute your device, please? Okay, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. We're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Tonka House. The file number is 21-01347 FY. Mr. House, today's the date that was set for a probation violation arraignment. I have here a request in summons for probation violation, and it alleges that you violated the terms of your probation by testing positive for methamphetamines in the amount of 2,530 nanograms per milliliter at PATS on April 14, 2022. It also alleges that you violated the terms of your probation by failing to submit to random testing at PATS on April 26, 2022. So you have the right to have a contested hearing on those alleged violations, and you have the right to be represented by counsel. If you are found to be in violation of the terms of your probation, you could be subject to a sentence of jail time. I could potentially extend your probation, terminate it, or I can continue it and add additional sanctions or programming. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you want to request a court-appointed counsel?
Ma'am.
I'm sorry?
No, ma'am.
You do not want representation for these violations?
No, ma'am.
Okay, do you want to have a hearing on these violations, or do you want to plead not guilty, stand mute, or plead guilty?
I plead guilty.
You want to waive your right to hearing and plead guilty, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I've just explained to you your rights as it relates to the probation violations. You indicate to the court that you want to waive your rights so that you can enter a guilty plea to these violations. Is there anyone promising you anything to get you to waive your rights and plead guilty today?
No, ma'am.
Is anybody threatening you, sir, to get you to waive your rights and plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty to the violations because you believe you're guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, as to the violation number 11, that you tested positive for methamphetamines at PATS on April 14, 2022, how do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
Okay, and as to violation number 12, that you failed to submit to random testing at PATS on April 26, 2022, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Okay, you were placed on a term of probation by the court before Judge Louise Alderson, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and she sentenced you to a term of probation, and you were ordered not to use, purchase, or possess drugs or alcohol unless you had a valid prescription, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so the allegations that you tested positive are from methamphetamines on April 14th, 2022. On or about April 14th, 2022, have you been using any methamphetamines?
I had previous to that day, yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you have a valid prescription for
ma'am.
methamphetamine?
No,
Okay, you
ma'am.
knew it was okay, you knew it was methamphetamine when you used it?
Yes, ma'am.
And you knew it was in violation of your probation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then as to the violation that you failed to submit to random testing at PATS on April 26, 2022, how do you plead to that, sir? Okay, and so as part of your probation status, were you ordered to submit to random PBT testing and your analysis?
Yes, ma'am. I missed that day.
Okay, you missed that day. Why did you miss?
I didn't call. I just forgot to call.
Okay,
So I didn't know I was supposed to go that day.
okay. Thank you. Well, the court is satisfied with the factual basis, and I'm going to accept your plea. I find your plea to be made freely, voluntarily, and intelligently. The recommendation from the probation department is to continue your probation and extend it 4 months, and for the court to increase the amount of testing to 4 times per month, and that you need to attend some 12-step meetings 2 times a week.
I'm
That's the
signed up. I got signed up for that already.
You already signed up for the 12-step meetings?
Yes, ma'am. I just have to pay for it.
Okay, is there anything that you wanted to share with the court before I impose sentencing, sir?
My apologies.
Okay, I accept your apology, but what I'm more concerned about, sir, is that you need to take care of your health, that you're struggling with some things that could be very dangerous to you. And I think adding some additional programming could be beneficial to you. So I'm happy to hear that you are already enrolled in the 12-step. I'm going to adopt the recommendation of probation, and I'm going to sentence you to continue with the 12-step, having met with them 2 times a week, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You're also going to be testing 4 times a month until further notice, okay?
Okay.
Are you doing any outpatient at this time at PATS?
I was signed up, but I'm doing, I got one more class of anger management. And then I've signed up for this course,
Okay,
drug and alcohol course.
okay. I'm gonna order that you participate in some outpatient treatment at PATS and provide verification to your probation department, your probation officer. Do you have any questions, sir? Okay, well, you're all set and good luck, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're free to hang up, Mr. House. Okay, Mr. Lagarde.
Yes,
Ms. Donnelly, are you representing him? I know he was set for a hearing on one and there's an arraignment on another.
Your Honor, yes, I am representing him, and we have discussed both what he's getting arraigned on and the hearing for today. So I'm not opposed to just handling it all together.
Okay, very well. We're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Michael Lewis Lagarde. The file number is 19-04456 SD. Counsel appearance, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Sarah Donnelly on behalf of the defendant, Michael Lagarde, who is appearing by Zoom.
Thank you. Today's the date that's set for a probation violation hearing and then an arraignment on a new violation. Previously arraigned on violations dated from April 6, 2022. I have a new request and summons for probation violations with the date of April 28, 2022. So are those allegations that you failed to report monthly to the probation office as directed on April 14, 2022.
Yes.
Looks like they've dismissed two of the other violations that were listed here, and then there is a second violation, number 14, that alleges that you failed to submit to random preliminary breath test or your analysis testing on April 19th, 2022 per Adam. And so you have the right to have a contested hearing on that, and you have the right to be represented by counsel. Ms. Donnelly is here to represent you for the purposes of the other probation violation, and she's not objecting to handling all of these matters at one time. So, Ms. Donnelly, are we having a hearing?
Your Honor, Mr. Lagarde will not dispute the majority of the allegations. The only ones he would dispute is failing to complete the alcohol education program and failing to attend the victim impact panel. I do have proof through Mr. Lagarde that he is still involved in his alcohol education program and he has completed the victim impact panel. I believe he's also provided that to Mr. Ledesma. So on those matters, I was hoping to see if Mr. Ledesma would want to proceed on them. Otherwise, obviously, I would want to contest those since he is still in the process or has completed those requirements.
Okay, so you said as to number 16, it's the completion of the alcohol education program. He's still continuing that now or completing that now?
Yes, he has provided me copies of the receipts for his last few meetings. Yeah, that he paid for.
Okay, thank you. And then you said he provided you with proof that he completed the victim impact?
Yes, it was the certificate they provide when doing it online. He gave that to me. It was completed. He believed he thought I got it done before, but he didn't have any proof. So he did it this weekend.
Okay, you're an officer of the court, so I'll accept your word that you received and have seen verification. I'll withdraw those or dismiss those two violations. As to the remaining violations, how does he want to proceed?
Your Honor, with those, he does not dispute he would plead guilty.
Okay, that's correct, Mr. Lagarde.
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay, can you raise your right hand for me? You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. As to your rights to have a contested hearing, sir, you indicated through your attorney that you wish to waive your right to have that contested hearing and that you do not dispute the following. Violation number 3 is that you failed to make a truthful report to the probation office monthly on March 9th, 2022. It states here that you denied use of prohibited substance on the monthly report form and that you failed to report also on April 14, 2022. As to that violation, how do you plead, sir?
Them violations, I plead guilty, Your Honor.
Okay. And as to violation number 13, that you engaged in the use of alcohol on February 13, 2022, February 24, 2022, and then March 21st, 2022, per the results from Adam. How do you plead, sir?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. And then as to violation number 14, that you failed to submit to preliminary breath testing per Adam on March 30th, March 31st, and April 19th, 2021. How do you plead?
March 30th. and
Your
March-
Honor, I believe those were added to these 3 filled in ones on that are the basis, somewhat of the basis of the new violations issued on April 27th. And I believe Mr. Ledesma dismissed the March 30th and March 31st.
Okay, I do see that. Someone needs to, I'll indicate to him that he can't do what he just did here. He submitted a whole nother request and then he wrote it in on this one as well, which was clearly written in after it was signed. So I'm going to cross that out. Okay, as to the violation that you failed to submit to random PBT testing on April 19th per Adam, how do you plead?
I plead guilty with
explanation?
Yeah, that part.
Okay, thank you. Factual basis, please.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. All right, Mr. Lagarde, as a condition of your probation, you were directed to report once a month, correct?
Correct.
All right, so, and part of your reporting duties is that you have to fill out a form for your probation officer, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yes, correct.
All right, and the form, it asks you, any recent drug use, correct?
Correct.
All right, so, for the month of March, when you submitted the form, did you answer no to recent drug use?
Yes, I did answer no.
Okay. But that was untruthful because you had to call on or about February 13th and February 24th, correct?
Correct.
All right, so, and you don't dispute that you also tested positive for alcohol on March 21st?
Correct, I did.
All right, and is it a condition of your probation that you're not allowed to use alcohol?
That is correct.
All right, and you knew that you were using alcohol on or about those dates, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And then you failed to, and you're, as a condition of your probation, you're ordered to do random PBT and urinalysis testing, correct?
That's correct.
All right, and you're required to do that twice a month?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, and did you fail to submit to a test when ordered on April 19th?
Well, due to explanation.
And yes, why didn't you test that day?
Well, I worked at a rehab facility where I got mandated. I did 16-hour shift.
So you were at work at the time?
I worked midnight to overnight to 11 to 7, and I had to cover a 7 to 3. So 16
Did
hours.
you, okay, did you know you had to test that day?
I did. I called the I didn't call. I looked online on the new system, my Avery Health,
Mhm.
and I really couldn't. I can't leave a mandation.
All right. Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Thank you. I'm satisfied with the factual basis. I'll accept your plea. Find your plea to be made freely, voluntarily, and intelligently. Did you want to make allocution?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, based on the recommendations from his probation officer, Mr. Ledesma, we wouldn't have any objections to increased testing. It was, I think the recommendation is to have Mr. Lagarde would like to stay on probation. That's a certainty. He does not want to terminate it. As to his testing, I appreciate that Mr. Lagarde is being honest today and admitting that he is drinking. I would ask this court to consider increasing. He's only doing 2 times a week or 2 times a month testing. I would ask the court to consider increasing the testing as opposed to the Scram device, or if they if you want to do the Scram, I would also see if it's all possible if you would prefer a SoberLink device, because I prefer SoberLink. I think that they're a little bit more accurate. I know that they put a little bit more onus on the defendants, but Mr. Lagarde has demonstrated, he has told me that he would be okay with that. And with that, Your Honor, we would just ask that he be continued on probation. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'll grant your request. I am going to extend his probation. I'm going to continue it. I'm going to add an additional 90 days. I'm going to order that he has SoberLink for the next 90 days versus Scram Tether, which is what they requested. However, if he's not going to follow through with the requirements of the SoberLink, then I'm happy to switch it to Scram. Or we can just go an alternative route because if jail is still an option on this, okay, Mr. Lagarde? And so if that's what
Okay.
we have to do to get you to take sobriety seriously, we'll do that. But I would hope that you would take your recovery seriously yourself, and that these measures that I'm putting in place will help you to have enough structure to be compliant, okay, sir?
Okay, so,
So at this time, I'm gonna extend your probation for 90 days. I'm gonna add SoberLink device for the
Okay.
next 90 days. And I'm gonna remind you that you need to report to probation on the second Thursday of each month, okay?
okay,
And then you're also being referred to cognitive consultants for substance abuse treatment, okay?
okay, is that the same thing as the sobriety program I'm already in?
That's possibly where you're already getting some treatment, but I'm not sure. Ms. Donnelly, do you know if he's already at cognitive consultants?
Yeah, I'm there, I'm doing sobriety course.
Okay,
Yes, he does go to cognitive consultants for his sobriety group and his CBT.
okay, very good. So you'll be continuing there, okay, sir?
Okay.
Okay. And so do you have any questions about my order at this time?
How would I obtain the SoberLink device?
You can contact Mr. Ledesma and he'll provide you that information, okay?
Okay,
Any other questions?
no, that'll do it.
All right, you're all set and good luck, sir.
All right, appreciate it, thank you.
You're welcome. The jail could be unmuted, please. My understanding is that there is a deputy in there with Mr. Mattson. If they can unmute, okay, there it goes. Thank you. We're on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Vincent Michael Mattson. File number is 21-01143 FY. Mr. Mattson, today's the date for an arraignment on a probation violation. I had to continue or discontinue, I should say, your arraignment back on May 10th because you became disruptive and you refused to cooperate with the court or with the public defender. And so you were previously informed that there's been a request in summons for probation violation as to number 6. It alleges that you failed to pay fines and costs in the amount of $153 and that you have a total amount due of $305. There's a violation alleging that you failed to submit to random preliminary breath test and or urinalysis testing, and that you failed to begin your testing as directed back on February 1st, 2022. Lastly, there's a violation number 12 that alleges that you showed assaultive or threatening behavior on February 6, 2022 per Lansing Police Department report. So you have the right to be represented by counsel. I know there was some confusion or some back and forth last time you were here. First, you indicated you did want counsel, then I think you met privately, and I'm not sure, but I believe you changed your mind. So I'm going to ask you again. Do you want court-appointed counsel to represent you for this violation, sir?
Yes, I'd like court-appointed counsel.
Okay, I'll put you in a private meeting room with someone so they can get some information. I'll also enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf, and we can set this for a hearing, okay, sir? I have another ROA. The hearing's gonna be May 31st at 1:30. Mr. Keithley, I can put him in the room with you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ma'am, is your name Shakar Rhymes? Okay. Ms. Donnelly, are you representing Ms. Rhymes on this?
Your Honor, I haven't spoken with Ms. Rhymes. I'm wondering if, I didn't know if Mr. Keithley had.
Okay. Did you request court appointed counsel for the violation? Have you spoken with anyone? No. Okay, we'll get you on the Zoom. She has not spoken with anyone. We'll get her on Zoom, okay? We'll put you in a private space, okay?
Your Honor, I do see that Mr. Keithley was appointed to represent her.
Okay, when Keithley is available, I'll put her in the room with him.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Keithley. Were we all
Yes.
set with Mr. Mattson?
I am all set with Mr. Mattson.
Okay, let me make sure that they removed him, but we also have Shaquille Rhymes. And she needed, I think you were appointed to represent her for her violation of probation today.
Your Honor, I would note that it appears that that Ms. Rhymes' file is an OD file, not an SD file.
So it's on the wrong date. Okay, well, I don't know if you have the information that you need. I can put her in a room for you to meet with her. If she wants to have a hearing, we'll have to see if we can get a city attorney
Okay, Your Honor.
or get her a new date.
I'd be happy to speak to her.
I'll add her to your room.
Thank you, Your Honor.